The Pikmin series is a fascinating one, so me and a big part of the Pikmin community helped me on making the Pikmin Iceberg. This video was inspired by Mishka's Super Mario 64 Iceberg video, so check his video out. There will also be spoilers for everything Pikmin. If you don't want to get spoiled by anything, please leave now. Anyway, I want to thank Mishka's for inspiring this video, and thanks to the Pikmin Twitter community for helping out. Tier 1, Sky. These entries are pretty basic and not very deep into the Pikmin lore. Candy Pop Buds related to Pikmin. The Pikmin can be thrown into Candy Pop Buds and another Pikmin type comes out, which basically means that they're related in some way or another. Louie's file for bankruptcy. Louie ate a batch of golden Pikmin carrots he was supposed to deliver, which caused the Hokate Freight Company to go into bankruptcy. Pikmin types. All Pikmin have a type that can be useful to them, like being able to resist fire or breathe underwater. Yellow Pikmin's digging boost. In Pikmin 3, Yellow Pikmin got buffed by being able to dig faster than any other Pikmin. Onions are matured Candy Pop Buds. Onions and Candy Pop Buds both make Pikmin, so Candy Pop Buds could probably be evolved onions, right? Sunset Predators. Every night, a wild creature will come along and try to scoop up any Pikmin you left behind. President gets a heart. The president praises Olimar and Louie for their hard work if you get a platinum medal in the side story missions. In Pikmin 3's title screen, if you wait long enough, you can hear sheep bleating in the background. Pink buds on the blue Pikmin. In the ending cutscene of Olimar's comeback, you can see that some of the blue Pikmin's buds are miscolored and are somewhat a pink color. Though this could just be an oversight from the devs, but it's cool nonetheless. Juvenile Bulborbs. There are only 2 stages of Bulborb we know so far. 1. Bulborb larva, and 2. Bulborb/Bulblacks. There isn't a mid-stage that a Bulborb goes into. The only juvenile Bulborb we kinda really know so far is Dwarf Bulbear. I guess you can count that as juvenile. Who knows? Olimar's family. If you played any Pikmin game and read Olimar's notes, he usually talks about how he loves his family and misses them. But unfortunately he cannot see them because he is too busy collecting treasure so he can keep his job and get his company out of bankruptcy. Pikmin built the walls. Ever wonder where those dirt walls, stone walls, glass walls came from? The Pikmin probably built them so they can keep predators out of certain areas. They know how to build bridges, so it kinda makes sense that they know how to build walls too. Pilot seat required. In Pikmin 1, the pilot seat is a required item that you need to blast off. The reason why it's required is because who wants to sit on an uncomfortable seat for a long period of time? Like, damn, your ass will hurt. Pikmin flowers are real. The Chanistone cordatum flowers are small and have 5 petals. They can also be white, blue, and pink. These are the small flowers that the Pikmin use. Blue ship in Olimar's comeback. The ship that Olimar and Louie are in during the opening cutscene in Olimar's comeback is an escape pod from the Kopite ship, the S's Drake. Hokotate's ship and the S's Dolphin have the same parts. In Pikmin 1, you collect ship parts, and in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, you also collect ship parts. The ship parts you collect in both games look almost just like each other. Insect Condo's insects. In Pikmin 2 and 3, you collect an item known as the Insect Condo, which is an apple. How do they know what to call it? Well, there were bugs living inside of it. Post-apocalyptic Earth. The Pikmin games take place millions and millions of years in the future, and something wiped out humans and left none of them behind. This is usually shown in Pikmin 3 and the Garden of Hope. Open the Copad and look around. You can see remains of brick structures in the distance. Tier 2, Surface. These entries in this tier are nothing out of the ordinary yet. Puffman Ally Glitch. In Pikmin 1, if you whistle a Pikmin while it's getting turned into a Puffman, it will not attack you. You cannot throw them or whistle them back into Pikmin. Character D. Character D was a captain shown in early concept art for Pikmin 3. Sadly, he was never present in the final game. Space bunnies are real. In Pikmin 2, Louie claims that a giant ravenous space bunny ate the golden Pikmin carrots he was supposed to deliver. Maybe Louie wasn't lying and the space bunnies did eat the Pikmin carrots. The president also says that there were no space bunnies on the lane Louie went, but there are other bunnies on the other lanes. Hocotate food. The food on Hocotate closely resembles the food from Earth, due to Louie cooking meat, using the same spices, and preparing dishes just how we do on it. Stage debut game. This was a cancelled Nintendo game that allowed you to play around with Animal Crossing characters, and even Pikmin themselves. Mamuta and Smokey Prog are related. In Pikmin 1's creature montage, Smokey Prog entry says, thought to be a malformed larva Mamuta. So what this basically means is that the Smokey Prog is a younger Mamuta. They both also interact with Pikmin in some way or another, like the Mamuta plants the Pikmin and the Smokey Prog unroots them. Parasite Pikmin. Parasite Pikmin are actually the Bulbmin. In Olimar's notes for the Bulbmin, he states that the parasite Pikmin tend to live inside a host's body, usually a Bulborb. The Bulbmin are also called Parasiticus Pikminicus. God, I love saying that. Anyway, further stating that the Bulbmin are actually just Bulborbs being controlled by a parasite Pikmin. Gruesome. Valley Repose is a street. The Valley of Repose is in the street. How is this true? Well, where the red Bulborb is, the pattern on the ground looks like a manhole cover. Also, past the bridge, you can see white markings on the ground. Those white markings are a crosswalk. And zooming out of the Valley of Repose, you can see a shadow of a street lamp. Queen Candy Pop Buds. Queen Candy Pop Buds produce more Pikmin than you put in it. It could be a young onion, which related to the onion. Duck Hunt Laugh. In the opening cutscene of Pikmin 3, when the ship explodes, a sound effect of the dog from Duck Hunt is laughing at you.
Something is horribly wrong.
Unable to single cycle bosses. Pikmin bosses sometimes will not allow you to kill them on the first cycle, even though it should have. This is easily shown in the armored Maudad fight from Pikmin 3. Even though it's on 1 HP, it cannot be killed until the next cycle. What's inside the Pikmin onions? Some say that it's filled with marketable Louie plushes. Others say it's a huge city for Pikmin to live in. I personally think it's filled with just Pikmin. That's it. No one really knows what's inside the onion. Except the Pikmin, of course. Sand Belching Mearslug's Anus Mouth. Pikmin 3 Deluxe had a bunch of new features, and one of them was the fan favorite Piclopedia. You can read all the captain's notes, including Olimar's and Louie's. Olimar notes that the sand-belching Mearslug's mouth is also its anus. And those boulders that it shoots out are turds. Brittany and Olimar's comeback. Olimar mentions her in one of his logs. Beady Longlegs out of bounds. When fighting the beady Longlegs in the forest navel, they could glitch out and walk out of bounds. Alf's 15 siblings. Alf is the 14th youngest in his family. Peckish Aristocrat can read erectile movements. Somehow the Peckish Aristocrat knows where and how you're throwing your Pikmin without it even looking. Spider bosses eating important things. A lot of spider bosses in the Pikmin games have important items with them. Pikmin 1's Beady Longlegs drops a guard satellite, an important ship part. Pikmin 2's Longlegs drops a key that lets you access challenge mode. Pikmin 3 Deluxe has the Beady Longlegs and a golden hairy Longlegs, and they both drop important ship parts you need. How did they eat these items? Tier 3, Shallow Waters. A bit weirder entries, but still pretty tame. Louie controls the Titan Dweevil. Pikmin 2's final boss is the Titan Dweevil, and Louie is on top of it. Olimar's treasure hoard entry for the King of Bugs, aka Louie, reads, Louie is back. Somehow he survived a horrific ordeal with a freakishly large weapon-wielding Titan Dweevil. I entered a hole with an army of ferocious Pikmin, grimly determined to save Louie from the Titan Dweevil. But it seems that he was perfectly fine all along. I can't understand how he managed to avoid being eaten. He's always had an unusual close connection with insects, and I know he loves to cook them. Maybe he wasn't kidnapped after all. Could he have been controlling the beast all along? No, that's craziness. Although, he does insist now that we call him by the proper title, King of Bugs. Adam and Eve. Pikmin was originally going to be called Adam and Eve. It was going to be just like Pikmin, but you were like a godlike character instead. And you were in control of two characters called Adam and Eve. They would make babies, and you would make them fight against the wilderness. Great parenting. Guard's satellite protects against space pirates. Olimar mentions that this part helped him stay protected against space pirates. Geiger counter detects radiation. When Olimar was nearing PNF 404 surface, the Geiger counter was going crazy due to the extreme radiation that the planet gave off. Pikmin 2 spoiled food. Pikmin 2 has many food treasures, such as fried eggs and sweets. And how has none of this food decayed yet or gone spoiled? Yellow Pikmin without whistling. There's a glitch in Pikmin 2 that lets you get yellow Pikmin without whistling. Earth's moon is the new Earth. People think that the planet you crash on Hey Pikmin is Earth's moon. People move to the moon due to Earth being filled with so much radiation after a nuclear explosion. Hocotate ship knows. The Hocotate ship knows what you're doing inside of it. And it knew that Louie ate all the golden Pikmin carrots, but the ship never reported it. Twilight River dried up. In Olimar's comeback, Channel Gone Dry, the river in the Twilight River is dried up. How does this happen so quickly? How does it dry up that fast? Who knows? Olimar's nightmare. Olimar has a nightmare in Pikmin 1 of him dying and Pikmin taking him back to the onion to turn him into nutrients. Olimar's anger issues. When an Olimar main gets 3-stocked. Early blues. There's a glitch in Pikmin 2 that allows you to get blue Pikmin early. Blue Pikmin lifeguard removal. In Pikmin 1 and 2, blue Pikmin could save drowning Pikmin, but in Pikmin 3, Nintendo removed it for some reason. My guess is that the Pikmin have better AI in that game, so there's no need for lifesavers. I guess they can save themselves now. Glutton's Kitchen music. The music for Glutton's Kitchen is a bit weird. All the floors but the last one have normal Pikmin 2 cave vibey music. But the final floor has probably the weirdest music you have ever heard. It's like give 3 babies musical instruments and then tell them to compose something. No. Not that solar system. This solar system. This treasure is able to light up the whole entire sublevel with ease. How does it do it? Does it need AAA batteries? Who knows? Raging long legs and angle maze. Why is it there? Tier 4, Deep Waters. The entries here are a bit weirder and more obscure. Pikmin are angels. The Pikmin Olimar has found might be angels. Olimar could have died in the shipwreck, and him finding the Pikmin are angels in the afterlife. Hocotations and Copites are evolved humans. Their species could be humans or related to humans. They do have human-like bodies, so... Mysterious Remains is a segmented crawbaster. The treasure remains is a lobster claw. It could have also belonged to another segmented cropster that could have died somehow. Rock Pikmin and the Masudo Slurker. Somehow rock Pikmin are stuck inside a Masudo Slurker even though its onion is trapped inside a crystal. Aren't they supposed to be in the onion? Captains can carry bomb rocks. In 2-player battle mode, the map Hostile Territory has bomb rocks that the captains can pick up and throw. This instance is only found in this part of the game. Why is it not in the other parts of the games? Or in the other Pikmin games? Why is it in only this one? Onions are matured Pikmin. Pikmin evolve into onions. Suicidal Scutterchucks. Scutterchucks throw crystals onto Pikmin to crush them, but sometimes they throw it at themselves. Man, they lived a good life too. Only 2 Whip-Tongue Bulborbs. Pikmin 3 showed off a new enemy called the Whip-Tongue Bulborbs. And there are only 2 of them in the main game. Why so little Bulborbs, huh? They're such a cool enemy. We even gave them the nickname Funny Fuckers. Come on, Nintendo. Fire geysers in the final trial. Somehow there are fire geysers going through solid metal. No bread bug in Dim Labyrinth. In the stage Dim Labyrinth, there are bedbug nests, but no bedbugs? Weak Emperor Bullblacks. The Emperor Bullblacks was a strong beast in Pikmin 1, but became the weakest boss in Pikmin 2. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Nectar and Smoky Prog Egg. The Nectar and the Smoky Prog Egg look very similar to each other, but that's not all. The Mamuta makes Pikmin grow into flowers, right? And the Smoky Prog is a baby from the Mamuta. Nectar also turns the Pikmin into a flower. Then the Mamuta's egg and the Nectar egg look very similar to each other. Plasm Wraith and Olimar. Why does the Plasm Wraith want Olimar so bad? Does it have a crush on him? Or does it want something else from him? Who knows? The bosses are Wraiths. The Plasm Wraith can turn into anything it wants, like a Bulborb. When killing a Bulborb in the Formidable Oak, it turns into golden goo. Bosses from older games also did this, but with blue goo instead. Tier 5. Deeper Waters. This is where all the crazy and creepy entries start to begin. Umibozu Theory. The Umibozu is a mythical creature that's said to live in oceans and destroy ships, and the Umibozu has long limbs and a roundish body. The Water Wraith and the Plasm Wraith closely resembles the Umibozu, but this topic is too much to cover in this video. I'll probably be making a video on this soon. Maybe not soon, but I probably will be making one. Indoor themed dungeons. There are some caves in Pikmin 2 that resemble a house. The best example for this is the Glutton's Kitchen and Shower Room. Glutton's Kitchen is based around a, kitchen, and the shower room is based, around a shower room. Maybe something happened to these homes. Maybe the nuclear explosion destroyed these homes and left these ruins behind. Louis is possessed by the Water Wraith. In Louis' Picklepedia entry for the Water Wraith, it says, inedible, known to cause mass hysteria, followed by leg spasms and internal thunderings. Which means that Louis has consumed the Water Wraith and is making Louis go nuts, like controlling giant spider enemies. Hey Pikmin's mysterious life form. In the ending of Hey Pikmin, there's this cute little blob thing, and it's called the Leech Hydro, and it weirdly resembles a Water Wraith and Plasma Wraith. What could this thing really be? We'll find out in Hey Pikmin 2, of course. Nintendo, please give us Hey Pikmin 2. Instead of Pikmin 4, I would take Hey Pikmin 2 any day. Please, Nintendo, please. Volatile Dweevils. They are basically living bombs. The only purpose is to blow up the player in an attempt to kill you. If you get too far away from them, they will huddle down and take one last look at this beautiful world before it's... The Ship Part Nova Blaster is a ship part that you collect in Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 3 Deluxe. The Nova Blaster shoots lasers at asteroids and other things that block the ship's way. If the Nova Blaster shot the meteor that Olimar crashed into, we wouldn't even have a Pikmin to begin with. Engine landing and impact site. The engine of the SS Dolphin landed basically right next to the ship itself. Could something made it land in that area? Or was it because the devs wanted the game to progress? Or was Olimar just really lucky? Plasma Wraith able to fly. According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a Plasma Wraith should be able to fly. Its arms are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. How does a Plasma Wraith fly? Does it jump and it's in super slow motion? Or is the power level just so high you can do anything you want? Pikmin and ship. Pikmin 2 introduced two new types of Pikmin. The purple Pikmin and the white Pikmin. They didn't have an onion, so they have to spend their nights in the Hogatate ship. The ship says that they were very comfortable in there. But what happens if you have like 1,000 purple Pikmin? How do they all fit inside there? Do they sleep with Olimar? Do they sleep with Louie? God, I hope not. Do they sleep on the couch? Who knows? Snaggerts dig through stone. On sub-level 6, Snaggert's Hole in the Awakening Woods, there are 2 Snaggerts on that floor. And the floor on that floor is a stone type of floor. Which means that Snaggerts can dig through a stone type of floor. How strong are their beaks? Jeez, that's a lot of floors. Master Onion is too advanced. Pikmin 3 removed the idea of having single onions in the main story mode. Instead of single onions, it got replaced with a Master Onion. An onion that can hold any Pikmin type if fused with a single onion. The Master Onion is massive compared to the single onions. I think the Master Onion could only hold 3 onions at a time. 5 is way too many for it, and hey Pikmin, there are 7 onions inside it at once, due to white and purple also getting an onion. Cannon Larva Beetle Death Sound. When a cannon larva beetle dies, it makes a noise that is extremely long. Pikmin. Pikmin spell Pikmin instead of Pikmin in the Pikmin short movies. Electricity no longer fatal. Pikmin 2 introduced electricity and it could insta-kill any of your Pikmin except Yellow and Bulbmin. In Pikmin 3 and Hey Pikmin, they changed it where electricity only stunned your Pikmin. Pfft, how lame, Nintendo. I guess it was also for a good cause as well. Water Wraith noises. The Water Wraith has some grunting sounds when you're in the cave with it. It always sounds like a human. Tier 6, the bottom. The entries here are pretty wild and pretty obscure. Everything is an illusion. Since the Plasma Wraith can create anything it wants, like enemies, it could also make the formidable Oak itself, or even PNF 404. Nah, that's going too far. Or is it? I had to open my mouth. Popular YouTuber Chugga Conroy made a Let's Play series on Pikmin 2 a few years back, and it was episode 26. He was in the submerged castle collecting the last treasure, and here, just take a look.
Okay, very nice. This game fits me. Very nice, okay. Now, don't want to speak too soon. I really don't want to speak too soon. But I think that's the last treasure. And I think we've gone without setting off what it is I am so afraid of. I just had to open my mouth! I just had to say it! As soon as I finish saying it, you suck! suck! You suck!
Right after he said he doesn't want the water wraith, the water wraith just casually spawned in. This probably was just a coincidence, but it was still strange nonetheless. Louis is the wraith. Louis has ate the water wraith before, and now it has control over Louis. The plasma wraith is Louis. Okay, hear me out. Louis turned into the plasma wraith and now has a ton of power because the water wraith is controlling it. That's why he doesn't appear during the final boss, cause Louis is a wraith. Bosses summon boulders. Pikmin 2 has some late game bosses that can summon boulders from the sky. When they crash into something, they summon boulders, though it could just represent rocks falling from the ceiling. Crash landings weren't accidents. Alf mentioned in Pikmin 3 that something was pulling them towards the surface of PNF 404. Most people think that it was the plasma wraith that was pulling them down, but I think they're just terrible drivers, to be honest. Bulbmen can't escape. Pikmin 2 has one of the most unique Pikmin out there, the Bulbmen. Unfortunately, they cannot escape caves because they're dumb and don't know how to jump. Everyone's sad about this. Everyone loves the Bulbmen. They're cute. You want to bring them with you, but you just can't because how stupid they are and don't know how to jump on geysers. Sky treasures. Treasures can fall off the edge in some caves, but they end up appearing in the sky and falling back onto the map. Is there a portal at the bottom somewhere? Why doesn't this work on Pikmin? Why do the Pikmin just die and the treasure just lives? Pikmin's endings. Pikmin 1 has 3 endings, a good one, a super good one, and a bad one. Olimar makes it off the planet in both good ones, but Olimar dies in the bad one. Water Wraith isn't dead. If the Water Wraith is a Plasma Wraith, does that mean you didn't kill it? It just evaporated? Nintendo guy laughs at Pikmin. The video, known as Hey Pikmin Testing Grounds, made by Nintendo, features a man playing Hey Pikmin and testing them. He puts some Pikmin in the water and they start drowning, and he just starts laughing at them. This is unbelievable! I am disgusted.
So naturally, holy! Are they okay? Doesn't look good, but...
Tier 7, Dark Waters. Entries here are real mysteries that are pretty insane. Water Wraith clones. In the submerged castle, there are 5 floors, and if you take longer than 5 minutes on each sublevel, the Water Wraith spawns in. But how does the Water Wraith get from floor to floor, you may be asking? It doesn't. There are Water Wraiths on each floor and it waits 5 whole minutes before it goes after you. So there are a total of 5 Water Wraiths in the submerged castle. Pretty scary. Other universes. In Pikmin 2, the Hokotate ship mentions that the Water Wraith is from another dimension. Disappearing bosses. The Pikmin games have bosses, but some of them are weirder than the others. For example, the long legs, when defeated, turn into dust or bubble away. This is also the same for the Plasma Wraith and the Water Wraith. Are the bosses just illusions as well? Parallel dungeons. Pikmin 2 has sublevels that look very similar to each other. Subterranean Complex, sublevel 5, and Dream Dungeon, sublevel 4, are these rusty ramp type sublevels, and they look very, very much like each other, just with different enemies. Are you just getting sent to the same area, but creatures are different every time you go in there? Or are you getting sent to another universe, which is exactly the same, but with just different creatures? This is a weird one for sure. Purple Pikmin stuns Water Wraith. It's weird that the purple Pikmin are the only thing that can stun the Water Wraith. It makes it even weirder that the Water Wraith doesn't even get stunned from falling from the ceiling and you hear that giant thud it makes. Are purple Pikmin compatible with destroying otherworldly creatures from hell? Who made the man at legs? The man at legs is a mechanical spider that destroys anything it sees. Who made this creature and why does it have a machine gun? And why is it so violent? Maybe the man at legs is the one to cause why PNF404 is this way. Gatling Groinks and Bulber's resurrection. In Pikmin 2, Bulbers and Gatling Groinks could come back to life after a certain amount of time of being killed. What is allowing these creatures to live another life when they should be in hell by now? Damaging rollers hurts the water wraith. Everything in the Pikmin games has a health bar, but those are the things that are living. Things such as eggs and stone walls don't have health bars because they're non-living things. Then why does the water wraith rollers have an HP meter? It's because the rollers are part of the water wraith itself, and hurting the rollers hurts the water wraith as well. Pikmin stem souls. In the Pikmin short movies, Occupational Hazards, you can see a red Pikmin getting killed by a Bulborb, and once the Bulborb spat out the stem, the Pikmin soul came out. The Pikmin souls are probably stored in their heads or in their stem. Tier 8 Abyss. The final tier. These entries are real obscure and extremely weird and ridiculous. The Wraith caused human extinction. The Wraith is an extremely powerful creature, being able to withstand basically anything. The Wraith has gotten so much power that it's destroyed towns, cities, countries. Nothing could stop the Wraith. People knew they were over. The Wraith has killed every single human on the planet and left every place on PNF404 into ruins. Pikmin want revenge. The Pikmin want revenge against PNF404 because they were too weak at the time, and countless of Pikmin died due to them not being able to kill anything because of their weakness. The Pikmin hid in their own onions until they were ready to take on the world again. Water Wraith can kill anything. The Water Wraith can roll over anything, and when I mean anything, I mean anything. Enemies, hazards, bosses. You obviously can't see the Water Wraith kill a boss in the vanilla game, but with a bit of modding, you can see the Water Wraith killing bosses left and right. Dream Den is personalized. Dream Den is the final cave in Pikmin 2. People say that each sublevel has a connection to your own dreams. You might find endless pain and suffering, or luck and fortune. Time for the most obscure entry yet. Pikmin 4. It's been 8 years since we got a new mainline Pikmin game. We did get some pretty sweet stuff in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, but that was just a port of a previous Pikmin game we already had. Pikmin 4 may never come. It could come pretty soon. It could come tomorrow. It could come in 30 million years. Who knows? Will it ever happen?